sides. And in the back there is a vintage magazine. I'll then take us up to the highest level where my stand can't reach, so I can't tap. This is my pink section. What do you guys think? In the back is some like vintage talcum powder, and then we've got so many vintage powders here. There's a very big powder at the back with the original powder puff. There's some Pond's freshener, which is like a toner. Lots of goodies up on the top shelf. I'm now up at the top. On the other side, you can see some makeup from the 1930s here. Snowfire was a very popular brand in England, so we've got a matte base, some blushes in that little trinket tray there, even more powder puffs, nail polishes. Most of them have their original makeup. That's what I personally look for, are for things to have the original makeup in them. So this is kind of my more expensive compacts up here, rarer. Here are some from the 20s and the 30s. They've got lots of little secrets to them, and I can show you a couple of them. For example, this case has a lipstick hidden in it. This case here doubles as a makeup compartment in there, a lighter, and a place to store your cigarettes. This compact here has James Stewart in it, but it doubles as a music box. And I just want to show this one because it's one of my favourites. It's got a spider on it, a cobweb and a spider. Moving down on this side, it's kind of a bit more miscellaneous. I've got some of my vintage brushes, mirror combos here, a vintage hair cardboard bag, some of my pin-up magazine. This over here is my vintage bookshelf. It's got a lock and key. I love opening it because it's got a really old book smell. So, this here are my vintage Hollywood film annuals. Illustration of